the schmoopy streaming experience. I'm your host, as per usual, schmoopy. If it's the first time you're watching the stream, the VOD or the video on YouTube. I'm a monthly Hearthstone Wild Legend player, typically hitting Legend in Wild first of the month, and after that, goofing off. And when I goof off, I play your decks. But what I want to do to kick off tonight is I want to look at the latest meta changes, especially the deletion of several decks from Wild, based off of the nerfs that were mostly put forward for standard reasons, but I think sort of on the back end, sort of in the back door, we're touching stuff up on Wild. I know for a fact that people were not the biggest fans of Lion Hunter. Those who were against it were passionately against it, both on the creator side of things and also in the community side of things. To be fair, it was kind of a disgusting interaction. You drop an egg and you just sort of trade forever, and it was very duelsy. It gave me a very duels-like feel when it played. The egg no longer reducing lions to 0, making them cost 1 instead, kills the deck. People will play it. People will try it. It doesn't do what it should do. So it's gone. Spell Damage Druid, which was a pretty innocuous, possibly best deck in the format. For a deck that is so good that it was like considered always in top as the top tier. I never saw it drop below tier 2. Okay deck to play. Decent, kind of like plodding along, doing its thing. Sometimes they died, sometimes they didn't. Very tolerable, gone in a flash. And so what are we left with? And what am I supposed to play if all of that is gone? So I guess I'm going to start with the good decks tonight, or at least the things that I think could be good. I'm going to start with the stuff that I know is going to be good, and then sort of tail off into cope land on the back end. So first things first, Seedlock basically gets a free run at things. Aggro is already in a tough spot in the format. Second deck I'm going to show you tonight is Aggro Shadow Priest in the XL version, but still, it's in a tough spot. I don't know if 30 seed is the best way to go. Maybe it morphs into 40 seed as the meta develops a little bit more, and Seedlock looks to shore up its weaknesses by adding more tech cards and more room for ways to disrupt combo. But basically, this deck with Healthstone, it didn't get better into the decks that it's really, really bad against with Healthstone. But what it did do is it got better at the edges. And the example that I like to give frequently is Hand Buff Paladin, right? So Hand Buff Paladin, if I queued into a Seedlock, that's basically free. Because what I would do is basically just ramp up a charger, wait for them to get low, and then pop them in the face with damage while they were low, when they cut too deep, or when they just got within range, or I tempo out a few pieces and they need to take a turn off to drop Tamsin. I kill them on that turn. That matchup is flipped. Healthstone means that they're virtually at full health the entire game. The deck is a lot easier to pilot. It's a lot simpler to execute. And some of the brinksmanship on how low do I go as far as health total goes, which I think brings the deck both its charm and makes it fun to play, and like adds a little bit of risk or a little bit of gamba to it, that's gone. That's gone. Healthstone's removed that. And so with Healthstone removing that, I think this automatically jumps to the best deck in the format, full stop. It lost a couple of things that used to feed on it. Spell Damage Druid used to do very well into it because, Seedlock would get low and then Spell Damage Druid would burst him down. I guess that got a little bit harder with Healthstone. And Healthstone, again, I don't think Healthstone flipped things on its head where it's just like, oh, well, now it's the nuts into aggro. No, I don't think that's the case. Now it's the nuts into combo. No, I don't think it's the case. But a lot of Fringe cases, a lot of Fringe decks, it gained a lot of percentages. And it doesn't lose as hard into a lot of things. And that's made this deck a lot better. Lion Hunter used to absolutely dumpster it. I know Lion Hunter never really crawled above like a 2-3% play rate. But Lion Hunter used to absolutely dumpster this deck, and Lion Hunter doesn't exist anymore. So this starts as the trendsetter, the policer of Reno piles everywhere. I'm not the happiest about the place where the meta ends up. If this deck is the best deck in the format, I am on board at this point to finally do something about the Demon Seed. You don't just ban it, because that's stupid. You don't ban a wild exclusive card. So anybody that suggests, oh, let's just ban the Demon Seed, you're a moron. You change a wild exclusive card. So how do we change this? An easy target for them that's probably worth exploring is some sort of change to Dark Glare. Make it cost 6 mana. I don't know. Just completely Warsong the shit out of it so that we never have to worry about it again. I'm in favor of making the Demon Seed reward a lot like Arana, the Demon Hunter minion, where it has to live in order for the effect to persist. I don't care if like damage taken still goes faced, but I would like to see the 5 mana 7/7 have to exist. I don't think just upping the damage between turns is good enough. Not with Healthstone. You've got to do better than that. And you've got to do something fundamental. So either it's the machinations, like the Dark Glare, that enables the disgusting turns with mass production, or you make the reward something that's harder to pull off and has to stick in order for there to be some sort of payoff. That's as far as I'm concerned. This is going to go up in popularity. People love playing the Demon Seed. It's a lot easier to pilot, so it's going to be a lot more accessible to players who do craft it. So first place that I would say, if you're going to try something in the new meta, play this if you plan on climbing. I changed one card on this. Stats on Amathul are looking pretty good. I basically took Corb's list. I took out a sort of, I'll call it esoteric Ziliax build, where it was like the 4 mana Smorkiax, where it's like you take 3 damage every turn, but at the start of your next turn, it doubles attack. I took that out because I played it in THL recently, and it felt absolutely fucking useless. And I'm putting in Amathul, because Amathul has looked like it had good stats as far as Shadow Priest goes. We don't run Raised Deads, except now I put one in the ETC, where the Amathul was. And, you know, Oracles have been working great because Oracles go fetch your burn spells. Oracles also have spell damage. Mixologist can make a burn spell. Twilight Deceptor can start the whole Oracle chain as you get going. This deck, I think, is the second best deck in the format. Let's troll chat a little bit for a hot second. Sorry. There we go. All gold now. Okay. Another deck that was pretty good that is completely untouched by the nerfs is Big Shaman. Expect Big Shaman to get a lot better. Big Shaman didn't like Lion Hunter at all. And Big Shaman was sort of like 50-50, if not worse, into Spell Damage Druid. So Big Shaman gets a free run at things, and Big Shaman likes there being more Shadow Priests around. So I'm just going to take the Tempo Storm Big Shaman with Triangulate and show you that and say, hey, we can go Smooth Brain, we can play some Big Shaman. Now, those are the 3, I think, guaranteed good decks. Decks that are kind of on the fringe now, reacting to the best decks in the format. For me, what I would play is Barnes Druid. This is good into Seedlock because this is a deck that can, you know, if it's 30 Seedlock, you don't really play around rats because odds are they don't have room for rats. If it's 40 Seedlock, you play around a little bit. And I know this deck looks like it got nerfed twice, right? Funnel Cakes, gone. Sleep Under the Stars, gone. Why are we still running this? Because Ysayle does a good job of, during the pop-off, negating the nerfs. Funnel Cake is still 1 mana. Sleep Under the Stars is still 1 mana. It's going to definitely affect some Fringe games where things are a little unclean and you have to kind of figure out where you're going with things and how you're going to pop off your combo. But once you're in the pop-off, none of the changes change shit. So this deck particularly has been good into Seed. This deck can high roll aggro. This deck is very fast and I think still very strong. The places where my list and what I like to play differ from other lists you might see. I know it says Soda Barnes. It's not Soda's list. Soda plays 2 Gifts. Where's the Gifts? Soda plays 2 Malfurion's Gifts in the place of the Aquatic form. I prefer the Aquatic forms. I might convert over to the Gifts. You can do some cute things with the Aquatic forms, like on 4 mana, if you have a Bio Project in hand. if you happen to dredge Barnes, you can set Barnes up to be drawn that turn, and then you go, and you're guaranteed to not draw the Assail, and you're guaranteed to draw the Barnes, and you're guaranteed to not die to Rat. So, like, there's some reasons why you might go that route. This is just extra burn, and I don't think you ever lose to Renathal if you do include these, but you have a little bit less flexibility and a little bit less dig than you do if you go with the Aquatics. I think either card is good. I prefer the Aquatics right now. Might change my mind and go back to Gift. I don't know shit about Alex Rogue, and if you know anything about me playing Alex Rogue, I'm absolute trash at it if you've been paying any attention to the stream. I'm just going to include Soda's list for Alex Rogue. It's got some sort of weird cards in it, like Stick Up, which I think are supposed to produce minions so that you can pop an Okani or something like that. Lucky comment I have heard from some Alex Rogue players is Garbo. Araxius, if she saw the Blackwater Cutlasses in this list, would be shrieking and pulling her hair out and gnashing her teeth and just generally cursing me out in chat. She hates the Blackwater Cutlasses. But, you know, whatever list of Alex Rogue you like, Alex Rogue would probably do okay. It does well into Seedlock. XL Shadow Priest it doesn't want to see, but you can high roll. Big Shaman is Big Shaman. Just hope that you're faster than the Big Shaman or Ancestor's Call doesn't pull something. This is a little bit more on the copey end. More cope. Maly Druid was a really solid deck before the nerfs. It feels the Sleep Under the Stars nerf a little bit more. You can't go Goff into Sleep Under the Stars anymore without a coin or an Innervate or something. But the fact that, again, we're running Ysail, we can just turn it into 1 mana on the pop-off turns. Basically mitigates it. Funnel Cake, same thing. Sort of changes the combo turn on the edges, on the fringes, on the really tough games where you're trying to dig a result out. But this deck is fine. This deck is good. I've played this a bunch for fun. Ysail is a little bit faster and a little bit better into aggro because it's faster. This is a little bit more disruption resilient and fine into the slow stuff. So, like, I would trust the Ysail more, but this is definitely playable and fine if you're looking especially to have, like, a 40 health buffer between you and your opponents. And last but not least, I'm theorizing that Pig Priest is still decent in this meta, and I'll do a little bit of testing of that tonight. Pig Priest was great into Seedlock before, and I suspect that it could still be good. So I want to see that in action. This is like the Super Cope and Super Cope, Super Cursed. If you do queue into aggro, fuck the pigs. Go straight for the mess makers. Keep rezzing mess makers. Make them cry. Make them uninstall. And I have a sneaking suspicion that even Odin with a nerfed Sleep Under the Stars gets a little bit better. I've been really liking the oracles in this list. You know, more draw, more better. And Sleep Under the Stars, maybe, you know, we can survive the extra mana hit. I don't know. I want to test that a little bit more, too. So, top 3 decks. Best decks that I would play if I was interested in winning games immediately. Barnes would be my personal first deck to play, go-to, if I was climbing in earnest. Because it's sort of, in a way, I think fits nicely into the other decks that I think are the best in the formats, or at a sort of as a counter queue, but not really. Everything else, a little bit copey at this point, but I think looks pretty okay. All right, so hopefully those decks work well for you. And if you have enjoyed this content, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing on YouTube.